This is the Great Bend in Tibet, a spectacular U-turn in the Yarlung-Tsempo River that essentially reroutes the water down towards India and Bangladesh.
This is the world's most riskiest project. It's technically most difficult to build. The most expensive project ever undertaken on any river anywhere in the world.
China's obsession with engineering is legendary. Over the past 70 years, they've shattered records across industries, outbuilding and outengineering much of their competition. When it comes to hydropower, China stands tall with an astounding 87,000 dams. With a population of 1.4 billion, water management is vital. To fuel their rapid development, they've even redirected major rivers. Hydro mega projects? They've done plenty, but what they're working on now makes even the colossal Three Gorges Dam look like a minor feat. The plans for this new project? Absolutely wild. One original idea was to use a nuclear weapon to blast through obstacles. Yes, you heard that right. Thankfully, saner heads prevailed in the Chinese government, and they scrapped that explosive plan. So what's this new mega dam that's causing such a stir? Let's dive into the details. In Tibet, the Yarlung-Tsempo River takes an incredible turn, a massive U-bend that guides its waters southward toward India and Bangladesh. This bend, winding around one of the tallest peaks in the Himalayas, cradles the Yarlung-Tsempo Grand Canyon, the deepest and longest gorge on the planet. Stretch it out, and it's about 50 kilometers longer than the Grand Canyon in the US and 3 times as deep. This colossal scale is why China has set its sights on this remote location for an audacious project, a dam that, if completed, will be the world's most powerful hydroelectric dam. China's vision for the Great Bend is nothing short of ambitious. Announced as part of their 14th five-year plan, this project is shaping up to be the riskiest and most complex engineering feat ever attempted. For about 20 years, China has been mulling over the idea of a dam here, driven by the dramatic 2,000-meter drop from one side of the bend to the other. While specifics are still under wraps, rumors suggest that the Mochuo hydropower station might involve drilling a tunnel through a 700-meter mountain. The goal? To channel river water through this tunnel and generate up to 60 gigawatts of power, 3 times more than the world's current largest hydropower station, the Three Gorges Dam. This is engineering at its most daring. But building in this part of the world is no small feat. The sheer isolation of Medog County, which until recently lacked even a major road, is just the beginning. The area is a hotbed of geological and political instability, making it a treacherous place for ambitious projects. Yet, the potential rewards of harnessing the Yarlung-Tsempo's power are too great for China to ignore. Despite the rugged terrain, China has been tapping into the river's hydropower for years. Upstream, smaller facilities have made a dent, but nothing compares to the 60-gigawatt superdam that's on the drawing board. If this superdam comes to life, it will generate 3 times more electricity than the largest dam in existence. It's set to capture the raw might of one of Asia's largest rivers, providing clean energy for tens of millions. Yet, this grand vision faces extraordinary challenges. First, the site sits precariously on a major fault line where the tectonic plates of India and Eurasia meet. Just 200 kilometers away from the epicenter of a magnitude 8.6 earthquake in 1950, the region has experienced over 4,000 quakes above magnitude 4.5 since 1901. Landslides are another constant threat. In March 2021, a landslide upstream partially dammed the Yarlung-Tsempo, causing a dramatic swell in the river. A similar disaster in the Indian Himalayas led to a catastrophic flood that demolished a bridge, claimed lives, and obliterated 2 hydropower stations downstream. But how does China plan to tackle this monumental project? There are essentially 2 paths they could take, and both come with significant challenges. The first option involves constructing a series of dams down through the Great Gorge. This would wreak havoc on the region's rich biodiversity and turn a pristine area into an industrial zone. The second option is a bit more ambitious. Dig a massive tunnel from the river's high reaches to its lower end, channeling the water through this tunnel to generate power. The catch? This method would see water flowing out close to the Indian border, adding a layer of geopolitical complexity. The second approach, however, seems to be the front runner. It's called a run-of-the-river system, an approach that leverages the natural flow of the river instead of building a huge reservoir. This method is common in places like Brazil, the United States, and China. Here's how it works. Instead of backing up the river's flow, water is diverted from a high point to a lower point. As it moves through a power station, it spins turbines to create electricity. Applying this principle to the Yarlung-Tsangpo Gorge, though, is no small feat. The plan is to bore a tunnel straight through the Namchabawa mountain, slicing across the Great Bend. Water would rush through this tunnel, dropping thousands of meters in altitude before hitting a series of 9 hydroelectric facilities. Each facility would generate power as the water flows downstream. The tunnel alone would stretch around 40 kilometers, even if it cuts through the bend at its shortest point. Experts predict that this tunnel could channel 2,000 cubic meters of water per second, potentially generating up to 300 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity annually. To put that in perspective, the Three Gorges Dam, the world's current largest, produces 100 billion kilowatt-hours. Despite its staggering output, the actual construction of this mega dam would look less imposing than the Three Gorges. The true mega of this project lies in the sheer power of the water roaring down from the mountains, rather than the size of the structure itself. Now, this colossal project is slated to be just a few kilometers from the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, a region China largely claims as its own. The area is part of the contentious line of actual control, a poorly defined border that has been a flashpoint for conflict since the 1960s. Tensions have flared up repeatedly, including a deadly skirmish in June 2020 in the Galwan Valley, which marked the first combat-related death between the two nations since 1975. Given this volatile history, the construction of the world's most powerful hydropower facility near such a disputed border could further escalate friction between these nuclear-armed neighbors. While many in China might not view this dam as a weapon, the concern for countries downstream like India is very real. There's a significant risk that the dam could be perceived as a strategic move, heightening regional anxiety. But it's not just the political tensions that raise eyebrows. Research indicates that hydropower stations and dams can wreak havoc on the environment. One major issue is sediment trapping. When sediment is held back by dams, it disrupts the river's natural flow, potentially causing erosion and contributing to the sinking of river deltas. So, why is China willing to gamble on such a high-stakes project? The answer lies in their green energy ambitions. China has set an ambitious target to peak its CO2 emissions before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. However, meeting these goals is no easy feat. With over 60% of its energy still coming from coal-fired power plants, and with more coal power plants being approved each year, the country's carbon footprint remains massive. In 2020 alone, China greenlit over 38 gigawatts of new coal power, pushing the total planned or under construction to nearly 250 gigawatts. What do you think? Will they succeed? And what impact might this have on India? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.